I think there's two approaches. There's one of like, I've heard people say, oh, you just burn the boats. Just don't worry about it. Just quit your job
Mm.
and just figure it out. That's not me. That's definitely not me. I mean, there's something like, oh, I'm going to sleep on my friend's floor or something. And, I'm just going to figure it out. Like, no, I have a wife of 15 years. I have a daughter who's 8. I just wasn't an option for me to like do that.
Welcome, everybody. This is Kathleen Gage with the Power Up for Profits podcast show. And today I am really excited with my featured expert, Dr. Darian Parker. Dr. Parker earned his Ph.D. in sports education leadership with an emphasis in behavior modification in exercise and sports settings from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. He earned his master's and bachelor's degree from James Madison University in Kinesiology. I knew I would get that word. With concentrations in exercise leadership, athletic administration, and advanced coaching. Dr. Parker is also a certified personal trainer through the National Strength and Conditioning Association. He's currently the co-owner of Epic Leisure Management, which is a spa, fitness, and recreation consulting and management company focusing on early planning, design, concept, and turnkey management of hotel, residential, and corporate campus health and wellness amenities. Welcome, Doctor.
Ooh, that was a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm impressed. I have to tell you, with everything I know about you, I have to say that you're definitely in the right place at the right time. And, I love to see that businesses and hotels are really focusing on putting in wellness centers and amenities for their guests and their employees. Talk to us about how you got involved in what you're doing, and then we're just going to go off on a conversation in whatever direction it takes.
Well, that's the best way to do it, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So primarily I was saying that it's kind of a venture of love, I would say. I've always been in love with athletics and fitness and wellness. And as that love has grown, I think I've had the love of really good people in my life who have always pushed me forward. I've always been like, hey, just keep going, keep doing it. Whatever that means in fitness and wellness, because it's such a big field, especially health and wellness. There's so much now. It seems like everybody's getting into it in some way, shape, or form. But my current venture, Epic Leisure Management, really was born from my previous life, where I worked for a large company that was in 33 countries, and I was the national director of fitness for the company, and I was a general manager of a very high-end private residential fitness facility. So we were doing a lot of the things related to spas, fitness and recreation centers, and doing concept design, early planning, operating the clubs. During that time, I was a personal trainer. I was the GM of a club, and I was the national director of the entire company for fitness, the fitness division. And so my boss at the time, we grew a very beautiful relationship over time, just a wonderful friendship, mentorship. And I worked there for almost 12 years, and he was there for almost 20. So a long time. Mm-hmm. And we just decided, I want to do something different. I don't want to be a person who like leaves a job because I don't like it or it's bad. I wanted to leave something on top and go out on my own terms. And so I had a very comfortable lifestyle in Las Vegas. It was pretty easy, very enjoyable, and decided to just change it all and say, hey, I'm stepping down in all my roles, and I want to start up this new business doing essentially the same thing, but on a much smaller scale, not 33 countries, but just one-on-one with different corporations and companies that are doing health and wellness in hotels, private, residential facilities, corporate campus. And my former boss, he became my business partner. So I ended up moving up here to Lane, Washington almost 2 years ago, and we live 2 miles away from each other now. So It's
Nice.
been a wonderful
Nice.
journey.
Well, that's a pretty big leap to go from a cush job, because it sounds like you had, the ideal situation, and one that a lot of people would really lust after, working in a job you love for a company that is successful, traveling and doing all that. Um, what was your greatest motivator for starting your own business? And then on the flip side, what would you say was your greatest fear in starting your own business?
Oh, good questions. I would say the greatest motivation was just to keep pushing myself to be better and to, not to sound cliche, just to start a new life. I think for me, it was just like I'd gotten used to what I was doing. I was at that club for over 11 years that I was running, and my corporate role for a long time. And it was honestly, it was easy. It was very easy. And it was easy to kind of just, things had started working on their own. The machine was running. And when the machine is running, it's easy to feel like, okay, like, where am I in this whole thing? I think sometimes people in very high level roles like I was in, they try to do things to make themselves continue to feel important in that role. Because when you're at that level, honestly, you're delegating a lot. And so you're not spending a lot of time doing the nuts and bolts all the time. So I spent a lot of time in staff development, personal development with my team. And I still did that, but I think there was a sense of wanting to build something from the ground up again. But this time that was mine, that I owned actually for that.
So where would you say that any fear arose in the thought of going out on your own, and what if it didn't work?
Honestly, I didn't really have any fear initially. Maybe I was dumb about that initially.
Sounds like me 26 years ago.
I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I didn't have fear because I just converted it to energy of like, what do I need to do to make this work? I knew that it's a slow sales cycle, what I do. So it's not something like you're getting paid all the time. So I knew I was going from something where I was getting paid every 2 weeks to where I might not get paid for months at a time doing it, because the sales cycle is really long. But I always had personal training. I've always trained for about the last 20 years. So I was like, I'm going to rely on this for my income. And that's what I went really heavy into, making my daily income, personal training, monthly income, whole thing. And then worked on the other business kind of slow, like as a slow burn, because I knew that's kind of what it took to do it. So I didn't really have a lot of fear with that business so much, because I just knew it like the back of my hand. And my business partner, I was like, just going to take some time. Also, we're going to need time to decompress from our jobs that we used to have.
Right.
Like going from working every day, pretty much going to an office, in charge of a ton of people, to basically just being by the beach by ourselves and having business meetings. Like, we're like drinking beer, having business meetings. We're like, this is different.
Those are different meetings. Yeah.
So, this isn't a stuffy boardroom meeting,
Well, and that's the thing about running your own business, is sometimes you can get so creative in the way you're running it that it doesn't even seem like running a business. And then you have to rein in and say, okay, what am I really doing here? Which really leads into the whole question of how would you advise somebody who's thinking about going into their own business? What would you say to them as far as laying a foundation, and then how do they go about generating business? Because it's a whole different ballgame when you're working for a company and they're providing you the leads.
Yeah, this is such a big question. This might be a big answer.
Okay.
I think with it. I think there's two approaches. There's one of like, I've heard people say, you just burn the boats. Just don't worry about it. Just quit your job and just figure it out. That's not me. That's definitely not me. I mean, there's something like, I'm going to sleep on my friend's floor or something. And I'm just going to figure it out. Like, no, I have a wife of 15 years. I have a daughter who's 8. It just wasn't an option for me to like do that, So I think it's either maybe if you're by yourself, or, you really have like super minimal, maybe you do that. Maybe you just say, hey, I'm just going to quit. I don't really have much saved up. I'm just going to live this dream. I didn't think I was going to ever leave that job, but I was very smart financially. throughout the years. So I had money stored up. I knew that, if I sold my house, it would make a lot of money in Vegas. It was really hot 2 years ago. The market was crazy, where people were selling their homes in like a day. It was, and I knew if I sold during that time, my house would sell literally within a week, and it sold in 3 days. And so I had that money as part of, some income to help during the time. Got a wonderful financial advisement team. Highly recommend that. Just helped me consolidate everything. Got all my IRAs and 401ks all consolidated in the right places, and just a lot of meetings. I had other property in different states. I sold it. Again, started like making moves to that there wasn't the pressure to make money immediately.
Right.
And I actually just wanted to hang out and party and relax for a while too. So I spent the summer doing that after, because I was able to do that. And my business partner as well just kind of was able to relax a little bit. And we just I got to enjoy living in a new place, having a wonderful summer. In the Northwest, Pacific Northwest, the summer is unbelievably beautiful.
Absolutely.
Like the best on the planet, So.
Especially if you like outdoors. I mean, biking,
Yes.
hiking, running, and the whole 9 yards. Yeah,
Amazing.
we're just probably a few hundred miles from each other, both Pacific Northwest, and I absolutely love it here. Now, it sounds like you had the support and encouragement of your wife, and is that something that you felt was really important to have her encouragement in this?
Yeah, definitely. I think that we would have moved anyways eventually, honestly, because I think, she's from the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a military family, so it wasn't really relevant where I lived too much. But she is used to growing up in the same place. She wanted something more green. And I said, this is our chance to like live in a new place again, and somewhere that maybe you're more used to living, growing up more lush, green,
right?
More, water. We had both never lived near the water either. And so I wanted to live on the beach. That was another dream of mine. I want to live on the beach. So, right next to it. So we made that happen too. So her support was big, and she was into it the minute I said it.
Nice.
Like, let's do it. So.
Yeah, I live right near a river, so it's like I get needing to be near water. We have horses. We've got, we're living the dream in a lot of ways, which really leads into my next question. And it's not so much a business question, but it does tie into business, and it has to do with the health of our country and people in general, because obesity is on the rise, disease is on the rise, and your whole focus is providing the resources for people to have opportunities to get in shape. So talk to us about what you see happening with the health of America, in specifically America, because it's happening globally, but I think that our country is kind of the leader in the obesity race, which is really sad. And you said a lot of people in business are starting to move towards health and fitness protocols. What do you see happening, and what do you think people can do to be healthier so that they can really run a successful business?
I think it's kind of a tale of two Americas, honestly. I have been and still am in the luxury fitness business, essentially. So all the clients we work with, country clubs or hotel developers and stuff, these are people who are wealthy. They have quite a bit of money, or the communities have money. So health and wellness is at the forefront of their mind. And in the people who are building these communities and hotels and things of that nature, they understand how important health and wellness is. A lot of these hotels have wellness-based rooms now, and they're building these amazing monoliths to fitness and wellness inside the communities and hotels. So I think it's here. I mean, you even have 120-year-old country clubs now looking to actually change and renovate their entire club to make it less of a golf club, which is kind of a dying sport in a lot of these environments, and more of a fitness wellness club, because they're getting younger members who want to be active and well.
Right.
So that's one side of America, and that's the 10 to 20% of people who are actually doing exercise regularly, physical movement. activity. But then there's the large, probably 75-80% where none of that's happening at all on a regular basis. So I don't fool myself into thinking like, oh, I'm in a business where I'm helping the United States get better, get well. I know I'm helping generally probably the people who already think it's important.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's been my business, you know.
Well, and it's really good to know that that's your niche, and you know that you're not a end all be all for everybody. So with the whole idea of fitness in mind, and I'm sure that you do see the affluent communities where they're even getting unhealthy. I mean, when I go to the gym, I see these older, that would be me. I'm going to be 66 in a couple of months. And it's like, oh,
you don't
my
see
God.
yourself that way. That's
oh my God. Well, when I look at my Medicare card, it's like, oh, I am a senior citizen.
See, that's interesting.
Officially.
You don't identify yourself as being older. Like you can't imagine yourself.
No.
That's the interesting identity you have.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like, and yet what I find that I want to do is I want to be an influencer to those people in my age group who really are couch potatoes, even though they could afford to go and get all the luxury treatments to do what they need to do. So what do you say to people that they're in the mindset of, well, tomorrow, I'll start tomorrow?
What's tomorrow? There's not even a rest of today.
That's true. That's
true.
You
know, like I think it's just a human condition. You know, we're intuitively against things that don't make us feel the best while we're doing them for it. While I love exercise and I enjoy the thrill of it, and you know, it's tough and you're doing it really hard and stuff, but it's counterintuitive to most people to exert an effort that's uncomfortable for them. I totally get that for people. I think it's really strange though for like the populations I deal with who are very wealthy, when wealthy people are adverse to exercise because you have taken away one of the biggest factors for people, which is money.
Right.
And which is income. So I find it even sadder when people who have wealth decide to do nothing because one, they have the education, especially to know better. They're around people who generally understand the importance of it. But they've succumbed to, I don't know what they succumb to sometimes, you know, even though I have a lot of education and a lot of theoretical background on all of it, sometimes it's just human beings are strange. They don't deal with things.
They are. That's
you know?
why I like animals.
Yeah. But, you know, like when people who are in lower socioeconomic backgrounds, I think it's a huge uphill battle because it's not just like, oh, let's just go in there and do activity. Let's provide these programs. We know through, you know, Maslow's hierarchy, we know through, you know, public health, people's basic needs need to be met before they can think about being active and getting on an exercise program. If you live in the projects and you're worried about getting killed or stabbed, you're safe. How can you think about going to the gym if you don't even know how you're going to eat? If you're going to live from day to day. That's why I don't like when people go, well, just go in there, just give free programs and stuff. I'm like, no, you still haven't removed the barrier of safety.
Right.
And of needing to have good jobs and good housing and stuff like that. That's a bigger battle than just being a professional and going there and giving somebody a program.
Right. You know? And you know the uphill battle too of so many food deserts. You know that there isn't nutritious food to help them get on. You know, so this is a huge conversation that you know there's a lot of opinions and you're right. It's about getting to the core of what the real problem is. But now with what you're doing, where do you see your business in, let's say, a year to 3 years? What would you like to see happen?
I'd like to see us working with, we are working with a select group of people currently, but maybe expanding that just a little bit. Mm-hmm. We are very honest. This is going to sound very counterculture, very counterintuitive. Just not interested in working that hard. Like be totally honest. I have never heard that before from somebody who is very educated and super ambitious generally, but like, I don't feel the need to be super wealthy or have a tremendous amount of income. Like I can retire when I'm your age. I can retire. I will be able to retire. Will I don't know. Probably not, but I've set it up that way. So I don't really need to like make a ton more to make sure that I retire. And if I do nothing, I could contribute nothing to my 401k the rest of my life. I'll still be good on it, So
nice.
I just want to enjoy my life. So we want to work with more people. That's not saying we don't want to. We definitely want to, but we want to be passionate about the people we're working with. So maybe 2 or 3 projects a year that we feel really good about. We feel like we're getting too much work, we'll just turn it down. And just, I want to be on the beach. I want to hang out. I want to have some cocktails. I want to relax, play some songs, do a little work, and spend time with my family,
Well, and I think you've got it pretty close to where it needs to be, because, I know in my age group, it was all about more, bigger, better, more. And to the point that people just, they had to work just to keep up with what they created. And, so I think that people are starting to wake up to the fact that success has a whole different meaning than it used to. It's not just about how much money we have, but it's the quality of life that we live.
There's a burden to having like too many things.
Absolutely.
There's a gift to it, but it's a burden too. It's a lot of hours and time, and I lived that life, and I think I just have a different relationship with it. We just have a different relationship with money. I think it's important. Like, it's interesting. I see a lot of podcasts out there and stuff. It's a lot of marketing, making money, business, best things, how to push forward. I only talk to some people. They only interview people who make 6 figures, 7 figures, how to become wealthy. I don't know that that's the path, I think if you're trying to do that, you don't understand what it's like to be like that.
Right. Well, it's interesting because that used to be my model. It was like how to build a multiple six-figure business, yada, yada, yada. And now my whole focus, I've actually gone plant-based. I've been plant-based for about 1.5 years. And to me, it's about quality of life. And again, especially as I see people by choice being unhealthy. There's some people that it isn't their choice, but there's other people that they have everything at their fingertips and they choose to live a very unhealthy lifestyle. And so for me, as I move further and further into what I'm doing, the legacy I want to leave is quality of life and vitality in life. Because it's sad when, you see people in their 50s that are ending up like people in their 80s used to be in their, they're just relying on so much medication and all that. But that's a whole different conversation. Do you have a book? Or is there one in the future?
I mean, I've written books before, but they have nothing to do with fitness. Wellness. It's all poetry books I used to write when I was in my early 20s, and I published those, and that was a lot of fun. I'm currently writing another poetry book. I've written one fitness book, and it was okay. I like doing it. I would say I like doing things that people don't think I'm going to do.
Right.
There's no book related to my thoughts on fitness and wellness and the strategies becoming a successful wellness entrepreneur, or, training tactics. Like, you're going to get a poetry book from me, something, something completely different than what you think I'd be into,
Wonderful. And how do people get in touch with you, Dr. Parker?
Primarily through my LinkedIn is the biggest way on there. That's where I spend a lot of time networking with people, connecting, which I've been on there over a decade. So you just find me, Darian Parker, on there, or I really don't have social media. I mean, again, another thing is I'm not into it. I really don't like it. So
right.
I've kept it to just LinkedIn. So that's probably the primary place to find me. Also on our website for Epic Leisure Management, it's elmadventures.com. elmadventures.com is our business and what we have going on. And you go to the homepage, it's 2 people like in a fire. It's kind of us, like, I love burning firewood. It's really awesome.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll have all that in the show notes. And in closing, what are your parting thoughts for the people that are listening to this show?
I think the biggest parting thought is just be yourself. whatever you're doing. I mean, I happen to be in the fitness wellness business, but it doesn't define me. Find what defines you that's bigger than yourself, and be true to that and honor that every day, and respect it. And if you do that every day and you care about people, you love people, you're good to them, you're honest with them, that's a good life. That's a great life.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Dr. Darian Parker, it's been delightful. Thank you so much. And to everybody listening to Power Up for Profits, you have a great day and go out there and get fit.